Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Happy Friday. We finally made it, huh? Cheers. It is a gorgeous afternoon here, and as you can see, channel co-star here, or probably the main star actually, is enjoying it. So, what are we up to today? Well, I had this idea for a classic spin on a scalloped potato. So what I'm going to do is, and I'm probably just missing camping from last weekend, but we are going to do a bacon, potatoes, cheesy au gratin in the Dutch oven. The whole cook's going to be outside. It's going to be really fun. I'm really looking forward to it. It seems like a great afternoon to do a cook outside, and I think by doing it in the Dutch oven, adding some of that bacon, some onions, sauteed onions and garlic, it's really going to kick it up a notch. So I think it's going to be really tasty. And of course, I'm always glad you guys can join me it's possible today, I can't guarantee it, but this time of year, Luna likes to start her swimming in the afternoon. So if I get some good swimming footage, I will also throw that on here. But enough of that. When I bring you guys back, I will show you what we are working with. All right, everyone, and welcome back. Well, you can already see that my sous chef is sleeping or about to sleep on the job. So I'm gonna have to move on without her. We got our coals starting to go over there. Let's flip you guys around and I'll show you what we're going to be working with today. We got some good ingredients. Okay, starting from the left over there, so you can see we've got our Dutch oven, which is good, ready to go. We're also going to be starting everything off in a cast iron skillet before it goes in the Dutch oven, so you'll see that here soon. We've got some yellow onions over there, some garlic, some green onions. We got some spices. We've got our Creole Seasoning, which you've all seen me use in the past. Black pepper, pepper and salt. We've got that bacon. We've got skin on potatoes. Some people might have a preference of taking the skin off first and doing it that way. I kind of like the skin on in this recipe. I think it works really well. You can see we got some milk, and then we got some half and half. We're gonna kick that up a notch, that sauce we're gonna make. It's a kind of what they call that is basically a bechamel sauce. And what we're gonna do to that bechamel sauce is we're gonna add that cheese, which is gonna make it very cheesy and creamy. And that's what's gonna be layered with the bacon and the potatoes. It's gonna work really well. Oh, and of course we got our flour there, which is gonna be used to make our sauce. So when I bring you guys back, we will, I'm gonna start chopping up those veggies, and then once those coals are ready, we'll throw that bacon on there and get that going, and then you'll see what's next. All right, we'll see in a bit. Let's see what she's still sleeping. Yep, still sleeping on the job. What are you gonna do? And we are back. Well, as you can see, my sous chef over there is keeping good track of the bacon, so we don't want to burn that. Well, there she goes. But anyway, as you can see, we got our bacon going, and that's cooking really well. I'm going to flip you guys around and show you what else we've done here. So we've got our onions nice and chopped up. We got our garlic all ready to go. For the potatoes back there, you can see I thinly sliced those. Reason being is that they're going to cook a little bit faster in that Dutch oven. The other thing I've done, as you can see, is I'm soaking them in water. I find that with potatoes, if you soak them in water, especially when you're frying them, you get some of that starch off of there, you just end up with a much creamier, nicer product if you do that. So, of course, I'm going to take those out of there when they're ready to go and dry them so they're ready. But that's where we are now. So when I bring you guys back, we'll start making that sauce. Okay, we are back. You can see here, bacon looks beautiful. So what we're going to do is we're going to get that off the heat there. You guys probably recall from last video, the Dutch oven, I've already got my second round of coals going in the chimney, so we're ready to get really nice hot fresh coals once we start the actual cooking in the Dutch oven. So we've got that over there. Reserve that over here. We need to get some of that bacon grease out of there because we don't need quite that much. So take some of that out of there. Let's keep about that much for right now. We might end up taking a little bit more out, but that'll get us going. Now what we want to do is get those onions nice and sauteed. That's what you want to hear. So we're going to let those onions go for a few minutes, and then we'll pop that garlic in, let that saute for a little bit longer. Then I'll bring you guys back to show you how we make the sauce. Okay, we are back. As you can see, we've got our onions and garlic all nice and cooked there. So move on to making our sauce. First ingredient, kind of similar to when we made that gravy last weekend. We're going to put some flour in there, like that. All right, I almost forgot the butter goes in there too. We got to get some butter in there, cook down. And that's going to basically make our roux, which is going to be the base of our bechamel sauce. We might need a little bit more flour. We'll see kind of how it goes. So, let's cook it up. Remember, like I said last week too, you want to make sure that when you're cooking with this flour, you want to let that flour taste cook out. So we're going to let that just go for a little bit with that butter. It's pretty good. And I had to actually put on the next round of coals because these first ones are starting to die out a little bit, so we'll get a little bit more in there. See how that does for us. I was thinking to myself the other day, I've got to start making, we've got to make you guys I've been making you a bunch of savory dishes. One of these days I'll have to make you something a little bit more health conscious, but it doesn't feel very Friday night, so we're doing something fun tonight. So not that healthy can't be fun, but you know, I think you know what I mean. So anyway, so that's cooking away. Give that just a second longer. And then we will put our milk in there. All right. Got some milk going. Like I said, I make this a little bit thicker because it's going to be cooking in that Dutch oven for a while. So we're going to want that to have enough liquid to make it through the cook. So this is going to thicken up. Yeah. That milk starts to heat up. You just want to kind of keep stirring it. And smoke gets in your eyes, huh? Charcoal smoke's kind of getting at me, but it's coming together real nicely. And what this is going to do is what we're going to do basically, and I'll show you this, guys, in the next video, but we're going to be layering those potatoes, a little bit of this sauce, some of the bacon, repeat, layer. On the top, we're going to put a nice layer of cheese, and it's going to bake in that Dutch oven for about probably an hour or so, and it's going to be very tasty. A lot of people consider this a side dish. I think that it very easily could be your main dish. You know, serve this up with some nice veggies or a salad, and I think that you would have a wonderful supper going. So let me bring you guys back once that thickens up, and I'll show you how we spice that up. Okay, this bechamel is really starting to thicken up here. Pull that off the heat just a tad. And now we're going to go for our next ingredients. Oh yeah, that looks really good. Okay, let's put a little bit of that half and half in there. I think that's going to make it kind of extra special. Like that. Okay. All right. And then we've got our salt. And some pepper. Give that a nice little stir. Keep that going. Okay. Some pepper. And you guys probably recall last week we had that herb box packet. That works really well for this recipe as well. So we're going to put one of those in there. All right. Get that turned around. And then we've got our Creole Seasoning, which you know I like if you watch my past videos. So put some of that in there. Gives a little bit of a kick. Should be all right. Looks good. Let's stir everything around. Get that incorporated. And then, finally, we've got our queso. We're going to put some of that in there. And it's going to make for a really nice creamy sauce. We'll reserve the rest of that to put on the top. All right, it's so yummy. There might need a little bit more queso. So we don't want that to burn, so we're going to take that off the heat here to the side. Hopefully you guys can still see that. But when I bring you back, I'm going to show you how to assemble this. Okay, and we are back. So we've got our Dutch oven there. You guys will probably remember in the last video I had a trivet, which normally holds the Dutch oven up. Unfortunately, that trivet is in our storage unit. So I had to improvise with some old bricks here. I don't like the Dutch oven sitting directly on the coals. I think that's a good way to burn what you're cooking. So I like them off of there a little bit. Got about 10 coals on the bottom there. So the first step here is we're gonna get a little bit of butter on the bottom there, just to get that Dutch oven nice and coated. Get them ready. And that looks about right. Let's get our first layer of potatoes. You guys probably remember I mentioned I had those potatoes in water, so I took them out, I dried them off so they're all dry and ready to go. So we'll just kind of evenly spread those out on the bottom, like that, like so. Okay, looks pretty good for our first layer. The layers don't need to be too thick, just want to cover the section there. All right, let's get a little bit of our beautiful sauce that we made there. So get some of that, make a layer of that on the bottom there. Get it all over. Okay. All right. Okay. Get another layer of those potatoes. On there. Remember, we don't want it to be too thick or they won't cook. You want to spread them out. Okay. Oh, and then heaven forbid, I forgot one of our most fun ingredients, that butter little with all this beautiful bacon. Just gonna go in there. All right. Spread that out. That's gonna be good. Another layer of that sauce on there. Spread that around. Nice. Okay. We have a few little bacon potatoes left there on the top. Okay. Do that. Let's get the rest of our sauce out of there. Beautiful bechamel cheese sauce there. Okay, spread that around. Real good. That looks perfect. Another round of that bacon on the top there. All right. And the rest of that queso. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put that lid on there. We're gonna do 16 on top, 16 coals on top. When I bring you guys back, we should have a good finished product, and I will show you what we ended up with. So Luna and I are just chilling out, waiting for those potatoes to be finished. I checked on it a bit ago, and you've got a nice golden brown on the top. It's working really good. You just got to give it a little bit more time. Nobody wants crunchy potatoes, so just, you know, it's not going to burn. It's just, the Dutch oven is really cool that way, in the sense that if you just use the right coal ratio, it normally turns out pretty good. So I think we're onto something. I think it'll be really tasty. It should be a really nice supper. All of you, I hope you are enjoying your Friday and are getting ready for a good weekend. So, like I said, we'll bring you guys back once everything's all finished. And we are back. Wow. Look at that. Doesn't that just look amazing? So I chopped up those green onions, threw them on top of there. Once again, I mentioned it before, smell-o-vision, woof, it would blow everybody away. I think this is going to be really tasty. And when I bring you guys back, we'll get in for that big bite. Okay, and we are back. So the visual looked amazing. Let's dive in and see what we ended up with here. I ended up putting, I think I told you guys I like the Tabasco. Put a little bit of that on there, but I think it might be too hot. Hold on. I think I mentioned before, at heart, I'm a meat and potatoes guy, so this is just right up my alley. The creaminess of that sauce with the cheese, the potatoes, the bacon maintained its crispiness. Oh, that is so good. And you know, this is a beautiful thing that you can use for breakfast, you can use for dinner. I mean, for dinner for us tonight, but definitely going to be using it again tomorrow for breakfast. I'm going to dive in for one more and then I'll... I highly, highly recommend that you guys try this recipe. I know that you'll love it. So, like I always say, if you're not already, please subscribe, hit that like button, hit that thumbs up, and get those reminders. We'll see you guys in the next one.